Welcome back to How Do You Know? During the break, Emily had a chance to set up this wonderful visual aid board. Emily, would you please go into it a little bit more?
Sure. Okay, so at the very center we have the Eating Together, Eating Better program, which is a program that myself and some other nursing students were implementing in the school district as part of our practical experience for this year. So Eating Together, Eating Better is based on research that's been done by the Dietitians of Canada, a very comprehensive analysis taking together many different research studies about the idea that frequent family meals, so that means a meal that happens 5 or more times a week with at least one family adult member in a distraction-free environment having positive conversation is proven to show many, many benefits.
Such as?
Well, such as, for example, the adolescents, the youth, for example, they engage in less substance abuse, decreased rates of smoking, alcohol abuse. They have less incidences of anorexia, bulimia, less instances of bullying or obesity. And then some positives, of course, it increases your academic success, it increases your vocabulary, your ability to form supportive relationships, as well as just makes you a more secure, more stable individual.
Wow, who would have thought? Now I see on this board there's a lot of different colors on papers. Could you please go into what each of those are?
Yeah, alright, so kind of the way that we've been breaking up our learning over the last 9 months in school is the know, be, do. So know in red is kind of what you know in your head. The be is what you are, so your heart, as we like to call it. And then the yellow, the do, is kind of what you're physically doing in practice. And then the pink is know, be, do. So it's kind of a synergy of those three. All right, so if you remember before, I briefly talked about the nursing process. So when we went to the school, the classroom that I was working in is considered my client.
Okay.
So to start out with assessment, we had things, observations, we created a survey to gather results. We had orientations and interdisciplinary meetings, which led to our diagnosis, which of course followed by different research and data we collected, as well as the survey results, is that the students need to know about the importance of frequent family meals. And then of course our goals for being in the school were to teach, in my case, the grade 7s and grade 8s about family meals. And we're very much pioneers. This is the first time that collaboration has happened between the nursing students from my university, the school district, as well as the public health. Wow. So that was a big goal, which kind of leads us into our planning. We created a learning plan and a learning activity, which we then implemented. Part of our planning is also to look at something called the 4 pillars of health in the comprehensive school health. So the 4 things that you need to have a healthy school community, which is healthy policies, teaching and learning, community partnerships, as well as relationships and environment.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's very interesting actually, because all of Canada has something similar. So Health Canada has these things from the Ottawa Charter, and there are 5 strategies to promote health. Those are things like building healthy public policy, creating supportive environments, strengthening community action, developing personal skills, and reorienting health services. Yeah, so all of Canada is following these 5 strategies to promote health. So for implementation, of course, we had our learning activity. We also had presentations to the school board, as well as different groups that are focused on community action. We also published a newsletter. And then for evaluating our outcomes, we have suggestion boxes for the instructors and students to give us suggestions for our practice and for future nursing students.
Okay.
As well as a lot of personal reflection. So looking at my own practice and if it's up to par and what I could change for the future, as well as lots of feedback from our instructors. So that's kind of what I was doing in the school. And then all this other stuff is the other types of knowledge that I incorporated into all of these decisions. So in the Learning Center, for example, which is more of our hands-on learning, we were learning interview skills across the lifespan. So things like when you're interviewing an adolescent, you want to be very genuine. You have to remember that you're not their peer.
Right.
It's all about being the honest you.
Right.
And then, of course, in my Health and Healing course, we're learning about the Ottawa Charter.
Okay.
We're learning about things called the 12 Social Determinants of Health, which is an international thing. In Canada, we're looking at things like education levels, individual coping skills, genetics, healthy childhood development. All these things kind of promote your health or de-promote your health, I guess you could say. So a lot of research went on there. And then as well, in my professional practice course, we're looking at things like the 5 ways of knowing, plus the unknowing.
Like you talked about
Yes,
before, yes.
yeah. Realizing that I still have a lot to learn. We're also looking at the different perspectives, so the phenomenological, the critical, and the empirical. So when I approach the school, I'm using all these different lenses when I look at the situation and how to help the students best. And then for the meta paradigms, of course, for example, one of the theorists, Betty Newman, has something called Newman's systems model. So the way that she looks at the person, in this case being the student student is their own individual self. Myself is the nurse. In this case, I'm going there more like an educator, teaching about the program.
Mm-hmm.
And so their health has to do with their stressors. So the stressors in their lives affecting their health, making them less healthy than they could be. And then the environmental, in this case, are all the stressors in their lives. So in the school setting, that might be not having a safe place to eat lunch. It might be stressors like bullying. It might be stressors from their home life. Maybe they have a single parent who can't be home for meal times with them. So that's what Betty Newman does. She looks at all these stressors, and that's the lens that she would look through when she views the students.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, Emily, I think this has been a very, very informative session today. I think we have adequately answered the question, how do nurses know? And I want to say thank you again for being on the show today.
Thank you very much, Barbara.
Thank you. All right, and thank you for watching.